22nd of August 2022. Welcome. This is Kirk in the morning. My name is Ida Munzati. Remember, we are also coming to you live on social media, that is on Facebook and YouTube at Kirk TV Kenya. The hashtag to use is Kirk in the morning. So as I said, it's Monday 22nd, the year 2022, a day filled with many activities, including the election petition by the Azimio La Umoja team. That is a story that we'll be looking at keenly. Also just looking at the newspaper review. But to start with, let us go direct to the traffic updates. Well, so in case you are out of the city, or you're just finding your way to the city, or probably you're taking your children back to school as well, or you're headed to work, let us just look at some of the ways or alternative routes that you can use, Nairobi being Nairobi. So we have Haile Selassie Avenue. As you can see, it's slow but moving, but there's a little bit of traffic along Moi Avenue. The Moi Avenue roundabout, so you can always find an alternative route. Looking at Mbagathi Way, it's also slow but moving, and more slower at the Kenyatta Hospital or the Kenyatta Way roundabout. Looking at Upper Hill, it's slow but moving as well. Just going to Lusaka Road, the road is clear. So those are some of the roads that you can use as alternative routes as you head to work, head to the office, or if you're just doing about your businesses, being Monday 22nd. Looking at Luthuli Avenue, it's also clear. The railways roundabout, it's a little bit clogged, so we can always find an alternative route, probably by using Uhuru Highway, which, as I can look at the map here, it's a little bit flowing, but in terms of the different roundabouts, it's a little bit busy, so we can always find an alternative route. Hospital Road is very clear. The Kenyatta Hospital roundabout, as I mentioned, is a little bit busy, so we can always get alternative routes. And if you are in such a hurry, we can always use the Nairobi Expressway. So that is all about the traffic updates, and I'm wishing you a wonderful day as you head to your offices and about your daily businesses. Well, remember, as I mentioned, we are also coming to you live on all our social media pages, Kirk TV Kenya on Facebook and YouTube. The hashtag to use is Kirk in the morning. So as I mentioned, it's a day that is full of activities, especially on matters elections, where we are going just to have a look at the petition, that is the Azimio La Umoja team petition. So we'll go straight into the newspaper updates or reviews. Well, so we have the Standard newspaper as well as the Daily Nation. Those are the two newspapers that we'll be looking at. So at the top of the Standard newspaper, as I mentioned, is all about Raila versus Chebukati. This is the Azimio La Umoja team petition, where they are challenging the decision by the IEBC chair, that is Wafula Chebukati. And according to the Standard, that just an example of what the Standard has written is that Azimio La Umoja team believes it has a watertight case to prove election was not free and fair, and that the Supreme Court judges should overturn Chebukati's declaration. Meanwhile, Kenya Kwanza has instructed its lawyers to defend their win vehemently. Both sides will spend hundreds of millions to prove their point in the next 2 weeks. So there is a petition that will be starting today, the 22nd of August 2022, and the Supreme Court has 2 weeks to share a ruling with Kenyans. So let us look at the legal team of the both sides, that is for IEBC, Kenya Kwanza team, as well as the Azimio la Umoja team. So for Azimio la Umoja legal team, remember this is the team that is petitioning the case. We have Feroz Norji, one of the lawyers right there. We have James Orengo, who as we know, it's not his first time going to court as far as petition or election petitions are concerned. We have Professor Tom Ojienda as well. He's not a new face. We have Philip Murgor, and this man can be remembered during the election petition, that is during the 2017 elections as well. For the Kenya Kwanza legal team, we have Kioko Kilukumi as well as Ahmed Abdullahi, that is for Kenya Kwanza legal team. Remember, that is on the top page of the Standard newspaper. For IEBC, we have Wafula Chebukati as the chairman, as well as Professor Githu Muigai, who is the IEBC lawyer. So that is the story that you can find on the top page of the Standard newspaper as far as the Azimio la Umoja election petition is concerned. Now, still on the top page of the Standard newspaper, we look at Uhuru walks a tightrope on transition. So this is a story of how the current president, that is President Uhuru Kenyatta, will just transition power to the president-elect, that is William Samoei Ruto, just bearing in mind that President Uhuru Kenyatta had taken an action role during the campaign. So this is a story to watch as well as read on the Standard newspaper. Looking at the second page of the Standard newspaper, still on matters elections and politics, it has been proven possibility to run peaceful election. So this as far as the polls are concerned, as well as the elections. We look at the fourth page of the Standard newspaper. It's still about the petition, so making of a presidential election petition. Huge financial resources, teams involved. So as far as the lawyers are concerned, they are going to use hundreds of millions for this, for the Azimio la Umoja petition in court. So we still look at the top legal minds in the 2017 presidential election. So the Standard newspaper is just trying to compare the current legal minds as far as the petition, the Azimio la Umoja petition is concerned, as well as the 2017 presidential election petition. So in 2017, petitioners were Raila Odinga as the first petitioner and Kalonzo Musyoka as the second petitioner. There is a little difference or change as far as the current petition is concerned. For 2017, we had James Orengo, Amos Wako, Otiende Amolo, Feroz Norji as well. Remember, he's still in the current petition that will be starting today. We have Okongo Omogeni, Norman Magaya, Paul Mwangi, Anthony Oluoch, Jackson Awele, as well as Professor Ben Sihanya. Looking at the 2017 presidential election now, these are the respondents. We have IEBC as the first respondent, and Paul Mwite and Eric Ngumbo as the lawyers right there. We had the third respondents, that is Fred Ngatia, Ahmed Abdullahi, Melissa Ngania, as well as Tom Masharia. The fourth respondents referred to as the amicus curiae, as we have AG Githu Muigai, as well as the Law Society of Kenya as the second amicus, or a friend of the court, as we can refer to it. Looking at the fifth page of the Standard newspaper, they are looking at why court may not order recounts of votes. This is a story to look out for as well. Remember, it is 6 bench of judges that will be starting today. They have 2 weeks to, or the court is required to make a ruling 2 weeks from today. That is Monday, 22nd. Just looking at the financial resources or the money or capital that will be used as far as this petition is concerned, there is 100 million. So according to the Standard newspaper, lawyers estimate that each team might require more than 100 million as costs of paying lawyers, the staff, getting witnesses, running errands, and doing paperwork. So those are stories that you can find in the Standard newspaper. We also have at page 7 of the Standard newspaper, it's still about the petition, issues in past cases likely to feature in this petition. On page 6, we have Raila says his legal team is ready to file case on polls today. That is 22nd of August. The Azimio la Umoja team as well says we have enough evidence in petition. That is as far as Azimio la Umoja lawyers are concerned. So those are stories that you can read in the Standard newspaper. As I said, it's all about politics. Even if we are past the elections, remember, according to the Constitution, if one side is not satisfied, then they can go ahead and petition, and that's exactly what is happening today. So we look at the Daily Nation. On the top page, the Daily Nation is, we are still about decision 2022. It's in their hands now. That is in the hands of the 6 team or the 6 judges. Just to look at the judges, we have Philomena Mbete Mwilu, we have Isaac Lenaola, Mohamed Ibrahim, and Joki Ndongo, William Ouko, and Smoking Wanjala. It's probably the same judges that oversaw the 2017 election petition as well, definitely led by the Chief Justice, that is Martha Koome. So that's a story that you can follow up on the Daily Nation. On the Daily Nation as well, on the social media corridors, we've seen of this tragedy where family of drowned Kenyan nurse starts GoFund campaign. So that's a story that probably we have had, or we have had a look on our social media pages, where this lady, that is Wendy, drowned while she was live on her Facebook page. So that's a story that you can read deeper on page 3 of the the Daily Nation. And just flipping through to the 4th page of the Daily Nation, it's still as the top legal minds face off in poll petition. They are still looking at James Orengo, Philip Murgor, as well as Feruz Norji as Azimio la Umoja's legal minds. Looking at Kenya Kwanza's, we have Fred Ngatia, Ahmed Abdullahi, as well as Katwa Kigen. So these are not new faces as far as election petitions are concerned, and that's a story that you can read on the 4th page of the Daily Nation. The 5th page of the Daily Nation, we have Azimio la Umoja bullish on prospects in court. That's a story that you can read on the 5th page of the Daily Nation. So the Daily Nation has also looked at what exactly happened during the weekend as far as the president-elect, that is William Samoei Ruto, is concerned. He says, we will treat Uhuru with respect. This is words of president-elect William Samoei Ruto, and that's a story that you can find on the 6th page of the Daily Nation. We look at the 7th page of the Daily Nation. That is 44 years after his death. Is Jomo Kenyatta's legacy fading away, even as President Uhuru Kenyatta is expected to leave office any time from now. So that's a story that you can read for yourself on the 7th page of the Daily Nation. So that's all we had for you as far as the newspaper updates are concerned. We will get a very short breather, then we will look at what exactly happened as far as our news is concerned. keep it Kirk in the morning. Remember, we are also coming to you live on all our social media pages. Kirk TV Kenya on Facebook and YouTube, Kirk TV_Kenya on Twitter. The hashtag to use is Kirk in the morning. We'll be right back after this very short break.
Wakenya ni wapenda kazi na kila siku wapo mbioni kuchapa kazi. Kipindi cha Kazi na Mali ni rafiki, swahiba na kipenzi cha wachapakazi wote. Si jua kali tu. Kilimo shambani.
Kusema kweli nguruwe ni wazuri.
Madini ya protein kwa huyu snail iko juu sana.
Biashara sokoni. Wajasiriamali wa aina zote, sanaa, wasanii. Guess what? It is busy. Tunatembea nawe kila hatua ya uvumbuzi na ubunifu wako ili kujikimu na kukimu uchumi wa taifa. Kazi na Mali, sisi ndisi, Kirk TV, hapa ndipo.
And let's latch on to something, I don't care how tiny it is, that is a good thing in our life, something that God is doing in us. I want you to decide tonight two things: that you are going to help more people than you've ever helped before, and that you are going to let God work with you every day of your life to be more and more excellent and better at everything that you do. And the more you celebrate the good things, the smaller the bad things are going to become. Come on now.
Enjoy Everyday Life with Joyce Meyer every day at 9 p.m. for encouraging and impacting moments on Kirk TV. Choose life that you may love the Lord your God.
If you delight yourself in the Lord, He will make you fruitful in whatever season you are in.
Listen to His voice and hold fast to Him.
That as disciples ourselves, we're being invited to be transformed more fully every single day.
In our walk with God, let us know that we are assured victory in every battle.
For the Lord is your life.
Live a pure life. Are you living a righteous life before the Lord? It is possible. People are wondering, can you do without corruption? Yes, I can stand and say it is possible to do without corruption.
Don't miss season 2 of the evening epilogue every day at 9:30 p.m. only on Kirk TV.
Good journalism is bold, in-depth, unique, captivates, reflects, and impacts. To quench your thirst for exceptional stories that are about you, from you, and for you, Kirk TV presents itself as the hub of feature stories. Ranging from health and environment,
either there is extreme drought or extreme floods, and these will affect people.
Religion and politics.
And the man looked at the boy, looked at the mother, and told the boy, going forward, don't wet the bed again.
There come a time when the nation is more important than an individual.
Education and socio-economic issues.
nasaidika kwa sababu nikishona moja mbili nauza, napata kitu ya kulisha watoto.
I have met with other tribes which I have never met before.
To other stories that touch on your day-to-day life.
Ja ndio iko mingi zaidi. Tafadhali mnasaidia maji ya nyazi.
Tingatinga amekanyanga kila kitu.
Hatujawahi kuona mabadiliko yote kuhusiana na serikali ya kujengea sisi.
Kwanza kitu naweza omba tu nishikiliwe tu pande ya masomo tu ya watoto.
Kirk TV, the hub of feature stories.
Still tuned into Kirk TV for the Kirk in the Morning Show. Karibu sana, being the 22nd of August 2022. Now we'll just get straight into our day's discussion. That is a child safety and security during elections, of course after elections as well. So I have great guests in studio. They're just going to help us dissect into this topic, that is child safety and security during elections. But before we start, let us look at just some statistics as far as children and security is concerned, that is in Kenya. Now, according to the pre-election or a statement issued by the Child Rights Organization in Kenya, that is on 5th August 2022, we recognize that over 22 million people in Kenya are children. This is 46.1% of Kenya's population, out of whom 49.6% are female, 50.4% are male, and 0.003% are intersex. According to the statement, we also recognize that children in Kenya have the right to participate and to be involved in decision making just like adults, as provided for in the Constitution of Kenya 2010 and other laws. Well, so that's the statistics as far as children and Kenya as well as the law is concerned. And now in studio to help us or to take us through today's discussion, child safety and security during elections, of course, as well as after elections, is Mr. George Ochieng Odalo, who is the Executive Director, Slum Child Foundation and Children's Right Advocate. Bwana George, karibu sana to the show this morning. And we definitely look forward to learning from you.
Thank you.
Now, in the middle is Mr. Daniel Amdavi Mulati. Mr. Daniel Amdavi Mulati is the Child Participation Manager, Mtoto News. Karibu sana, Bwana Daniel, and we also look forward to learning from you. Now, just opening statements as far as today's topic is concerned. Maybe to start with you, Bwana Odalo, child safety and security during elections. Just an opening statement as far as this is concerned.
I think during the election period, the children were the most affected population. And it is in the public domain that children don't get stressed up. We assume they don't get stressed up. But they're the most affected people. You try to imagine, for example, when you got your job here, your first day and all that. Then after some time you take a break, then you come back. You imagine all that stress. So that is the same situation the children are in. A break, election, the world of the unknown, you don't know what is happening, then you're back to school, the exams and everything. So they are the most affected population, and they're the majority who do not speak. So unless we speak for them, based on our understanding and interaction with them from time to time, you will be able to understand that they are the most affected. Adults, we are used to this. Yes.
Bwana Daniel, from your end?
I work with children every day. As you have introduced me, I head the child participation department at Mtoto News, and we are constantly engaging children to help facilitate them to participate in decision making at the national level, at the community level, and even in schools. And reality is, as Mr. George has rightfully put it, children are the most vulnerable in society. When there's violence or any strife in society, you'll find that children, because of they're still growing, they're still small, they can't defend themselves, they can't even rightfully, unless they're guided, express themselves, and so they're prone to getting affected the most in society. And during elections, of course, there was increased cases of violence, both physical and even psychological, and children were the most affected. We did monitoring. We have a report that we can share with you. We had over 290 monitors spread across the country, and they used to feed us with statistics or information on what was happening on the ground, and we had incidences of violence against children, children participating in political activities. We had aspirants engaging children to campaign for them. We had road shows involving children, and yet all these things were happening even before schools were closed. So you see, children are somehow affected as much as they don't vote, they don't have a voice at the ballot, but they are engaged in the political activities. So there's need for duty bearers, whether government or civil society organization, and even media, to just help highlight the cases of children being misused, but also facilitate them to have their voices heard. Yeah.
Now, with 290 monitors across the country, you definitely have quite a huge database as far as this is concerned. And that is something that you will be, or you can share with us right here at the show for the audience to understand as well how children are affected. So, Bwana George, when we look at children and elections, Daniel has just mentioned of how they were involved in campaigns as well. Maybe you can just shed light on that as well.
Yes, I don't want to say where, but I'm a witness of all this. I mean, you'd see a campaign car branded with a politician from particular faction, and he keeps on walking, and the children are behind the car, and you're like,
very
this is not, there is also another scenario, I don't want to say where, that a politician was now using the children as one way of reaching out to the parents, whereby they would organize free meals, they would organize gifts. If you're giving out to the children, they are needy, address it as a needy case, not using that as a platform whereby you are able to reach out to parents. We've seen cases whereby the schools are being used as a platform where the politician comes in, they campaign in the name of, I want to do this, I want to do that, which according to law is not right, because these children, they are not above the age of 18, because for you to qualify for a civic, can I say a civic duty or a responsibility, that is voting and all that, you must be 18 and above. So to me, it was not right. It was being seen everywhere. But the other thing that people forget a lot is that it should start with the parents in the home. Because if we are not able to train our children in a way that they understand what is politics, the do's and the don'ts during campaign periods, then that is where we give birth to the hatred. We give birth to tribalism, because you will be talking about your neighbor in front of your child and saying, you know, that camp lost it, so-and-so is attached. Then these children, you assume that they don't get it, but at the end of it all, they consume this, and this is what they spread outside. I work with children in the informal settlement, Korogocho to be specific, and the moment we interact with these children from different tribes, you realize that the moment they group themselves into small groups, that is the time they start talking. You know, teacher, they call me Teacher George. Teacher George, I had my dad saying this. I had my mom saying this. Oh, you know, so and so is not right. But for us, we try to bring them together and make them understand we are all Kenyans. We are all children. Politics will come and go, but we are here to stay. Yeah.
Let me call you Teacher George as well. Now, you just mentioned over the issue of age. That is, the children are below the age of 18 years.
Yes.
But they are said to be involved in decision making as well. So how would you say we can involve or make children part of the decision making agenda?
We've worked with Mtoto News on several occasions, and we give them an opportunity to give their input, because they know what is happening. You cannot tell me that they don't know what is happening. And being that they're below the age of 18, that they cannot vote, they have platforms that can be used. They have the media. They can do memorandas. They can engage, can I call them courtesy call with these politicians. And a lot has been done by Mtoto News involving governors, aspirants. Aspirants from the MCAs to the governor's position, whereby what they get to share their agenda for their respective areas of operations that they're looking forward to working. And these are the avenues that can be used to ensure that the kids give out their voices, and the policy makers get to know what they want. But engaging them in road shows, it's not right. These children need to learn. When you were in school, these things were not happening. I'm so sorry to say, during Moi's era, sisi ni watoto wa maziwa ya Nyayo. So during those times, maybe once in a while, Moi anapita, you would be brought to the road and for a few minutes and you go back. But it was not about, this is what I want to do. Can you vote for me? Tell your parents to vote for me. No, it was not happening. So the platform of doing the memorandum, of which memorandums, I think we've done a few before election with Mtoto News. We did, I think, some press releases with Mtoto News, getting to involve these children. They give you the ideas. We put them on paper and then engage the policymakers. Having them for the interviews, and I'm really so sorry to say, we are doing this talking about children and there is no child here. Anyway. So,
of course, we need to protect them as well.
Yes.
Let me just say, probably most of them right now are back to school, but we are here to represent them.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. Now, Daniel, you talked about children, violence against children in terms of both physical and psychological. How would you say a child is affected psychologically during campaigns as well as elections?
There are different levels and also different aspects to it. When you talk about psychological violence against children, most of us, especially adults, assume children don't have feelings. Like when you tell someone a child is stressed, they will wonder why. They don't pay bills. They don't. For us adults, we think the most depressing thing is probably being broke or heartbroken. But children also process feelings as adults. A child is a complete human being. They are not semi-human beings, or they are not, growing human beings. They are complete human beings. They have feelings. They also get attached to politicians. Once they're at home, most of them are influenced by their adults are within the environment. If their parents are, say, supporting a particular candidate, they will also get somehow, in one way, attached to that politician. And so when that politician loses or something happens to that politician, a child will also be heartbroken. The same way the parents in the home will be heartbroken. And the child, in their own capacity as a human being, they will process that feeling differently. Fortunately, children are very resilient. They will get over it very fast. They will go out there and play with their friends and they will process that feeling. But then parents, adults tend to take time to process that. Those who supported maybe a politician that lost, most of the adults are still processing the loss. And they will project that frustration to children. And you'll find that a child who is also mourning the loss of their preferred candidate is again being harassed by parents who are processing their frustration and expressing them to the children within the home. So you'll find that children will suffer the most. They will suffer themselves, the loss of their preferred candidate, but also suffer the frustrations that parents will now release on them. But also we have incidences, and that was one of the variables we used in monitoring our child protection during elections. Conflicts among children because of politics, basically. So you'll find we have children who are supporting a particular or a certain candidate, and then we have others who are supporting the opponent. And when they go to school and start arguing, you know, my candidate is the best, my parent supports this candidate, and the other one is saying my candidate is the best, we are going to vote for this. And we had cases where children were even fighting amongst themselves because of the various political factions. And surprisingly, from the statistics of our monitoring, the reports we got from the 290 monitors, the rural areas are the most affected. Like Kakamega was leading. We had days where more than 50 children were being spotted in political rallies. And we just tried to process and analyze why are rural areas reporting more cases of children being involved in campaigns, children being spotted in campaigns, children in road shows, children even hawking in political rallies. And I think from our own analysis, in urban areas, parents are a little bit more careful with their children. Like you can't just release your child to go and follow a political caravan because of the obvious. You know, we are scared about our children being lost, so we have a house girl who is responsible of watching where the children are. Parents, we have even gates, so the watchman will probably stop them from going outside. But in the rural areas, you know, I grew up in the village, and it's a free world, you know. Everyone knows everyone. So we are not, with the people in the rural areas are not very scared about releasing their children. In fact, our moms used to tell us, now go and play and you'll come back at lunchtime. So wherever you'll go to play, they don't care as much. And we felt probably that's why in the rural areas, children were being spotted in political activities, political rallies, and even road shows. But in towns, again, in urban areas, we had, again, more cases coming from the informal settlements of Kibra, especially Kibra, where we had children even being victims of violence, and Mathare. We had a case in Mathare where 3 children were hurt during a political rally. And so, yeah, children were exposed to various forms of violence, but as I pointed out with regards to your question, children are complete human beings with feelings. They process loss as us adults. And so parents need to guide and you know, counsel their children. If you are a parent who was supporting a particular candidate, most likely your children were also supporting that candidate. If the candidate lost and you are hurt, help your child also to process that feeling. Don't project your frustrations to the child. They are also hurt. Talk to them and counsel them.
All right. Yeah. That is great, Daniel. And probably to the parents or guardians at home, or just the general audience watching, you can send in your questions via our WhatsApp number, that is 01112220044, as well as on Facebook, where we are also coming to you live. That is Kirk TV Kenya on both Facebook and YouTube. Twitter, the hashtag to use is Kirk in the Morning, and we are at Kirk TV_Kenya. Now to you, George. In terms of the slums or the informal settlement, Dan has just mentioned of hawking in political rallies, in political campaigns. Will you say the status of the family is also a great factor to consider, because probably these children do not have something to eat at home, so the only thing that they have to do is to go hawk in the campaigns?
It is absolutely true what he's saying, and I've had several scenarios. We have a teen mom support program, and there was a time we called them for a meeting. Do you know they did not show up? Why? We were being told that there was a certain politician who was giving them 500 to walk with them through the slums to campaign. You know, they're teenagers, so that is the place that they would go get their meal. But you keep on asking yourself, for how long? The campaign periods are now over. And our program is just to impact a skill that will help you in terms of the long-term part of it. So it is very true that a lot of children were being used as a tool to show up the opponents that I have the numbers. But in real sense, it's not numbers. It's just a strategy to bring this together. Then a family is also, no, before I go to the family, I think what he was talking about, the rural setup, it is more or less the same in the slum setup, because parents do not have time to monitor their children. A little bit, in the rural setup you have a gate and all that, it's a little bit controlled. But in the slum setup, it's nobody's business. The mother will leave in the morning, run some few errands here and there, and if you meet in a campaign rally, well and good, you will definitely provide something at the end of the day, because you also went to work. But another concern that we also noted was that a lot of children did not attend school 100%, because in one or the other, the teachers will ask the parent, and the parent will be like, hakukuja shule, so I will follow up. So by the time you follow up, there was that election break, time is not there. So a lot of our children have missed attending classes. And it's my prayer that the teachers will be able to work very hard to cover the missed lessons. And then the other thing that we also noted was the issue of child labor. It was very common. Then all this brings or connects to what you are talking about, the gap in the family. Because there is no one to monitor these children. The mother leaves at around 5 or 6 in the morning. They will be back at around 9 or 10. So who is taking care of these children? When they come back, the child is asleep, the mother or the father is tired, sleeping. It's a routine. You wake up in the morning and that is it. So a lot has been happening, and it's my plea to the parents that as much as you are busy engaging yourself in one or two, three things that help you generate an income, please spare some few minutes, talk to your child, tell them what is happening, engage them. I mean, provide preventive measures that will be able to help these children grow up in an upright way, in a way that will be able to correct them if they are wrong. But if we leave them the way they are, the family will lose it, the parent will lose it. Then when you've reached a point that you cannot make any changes, you start blaming the society. It is not the society, it is us. It starts with us. I have a daughter who is in class 8 right now, and I try my level best to make her understand the politics. My son, who is in PP2 right now, I was surprised. He knows about this group, and he keeps on telling me, who are you supporting? And I told her, no, we cannot talk about that now, but we need to slowly by slowly, so that they get to understand. So it's up to us as parents to engage our children positively and in a right way, that these children needs to understand what is happening, and then we work with them. But as a family, if we lose it at that level, that the father is busy, the mother is busy, and the campaign periods are here, these children will belong to politicians, and they will develop a pattern or a behavior that when I grow up, I need to get my money from political rallies and being violent, because that is the cause of violence. When they grow up, they know I have to demand my right through petition, but I don't need to be polite. You remember at some point we used to have the slogan, Haki Yetu. And you would see the children even protesting, Haki Yetu, because they know that for me to get my right, I have to go to the street, which is not right. You have a polite way of reaching out, talking, and ensuring that things are done in the right way. And I appreciate the church so much, and the media for playing, how do I call it, for creating a leveling ground that the children are able to understand that after the elections, we need peace.
Exactly. Now, just talking of children, maybe to share one of my nephew's experience. He's like less than 2 years, and he couldn't understand how people were saying, Baba, we are voting for Baba, and the image that is being seen is not his Baba, not his dad. Yeah. So as young as 2 years, children still understand what exactly politics is. Now, to you, Dan, and maybe George, you can also shed light in this, just in some very briefly, because we need to take a very short break. Now, we have politicians who, I don't know whether to say they took advantage of children in terms of bringing children out to the political campaigns, maybe to share points, or we have politicians who are carrying children as well, just to woo people to vote for themselves. Remember, children are likable. I mean, if I see you holding a child, you have that motherly figure or fatherly figure. So I'll relate you to the family union. So Dan, to you, what's your view on that?
Yeah, of course, we had politicians who used children to whip emotions. Especially, let me not mention
the names, definitely.
Yeah. But we had politicians who are using children to whip emotions, and also to, in child participation, we call it tokenism, where you just want children to appear, or for you to appear as if you're involving children, but you are not involving them meaningfully. Probably you are using them to dance, or to present a poem, which is not going to inform your agenda for the masses. So this is what we were doing even prior to the campaigns period. We used to get politicians to have a sit down, like the one we're having right now, an interview, a proper interview, where a politician will engage children and extract views that they will then use in the making of their manifesto. But once they already developed the manifestos and they were out now campaigning, you know, they're now getting children to come on their road shows, or in their rallies to give to recite poems, or just to appear like you're holding a baby. To me, it doesn't augur well, personally, and I don't think it's even proper or right, even legally, because we are once you have a child in a campaign rally, you have put them in a harm's way. If anything goes wrong within the vicinity, children will be the most affected. Adults can find their way out, but a child will most probably be hurt. And so it's not proper to have children in political rallies, whether accompanied or not. If a child has to be in a campaign rally, they should be properly monitored or accompanied by an adult. But the most proper way is not to have children. The ideal situation, children should not be in campaign rallies at all. We should have separate forums for politicians to engage with children, because children have a right to participation. They have a right to have their views captured in decision making. But political rallies are not the proper forums for children to engage politicians. If a politician wants to engage children, they should find a way of engaging them in a child-friendly space, where children will be protected, but also are safe and free to give their views. And like Mtoto News, we have spaces where, as George mentioned, we get children to have a sit down with decision makers or policy makers, including political leaders, in child-friendly spaces. Political rallies are not child-friendly, and they are not places for children. That's my view.
Okay, unfortunately, Dan took all the... Maybe you can, in 2 minutes, just on the same.
I think mine is that as the actors, we will try and lobby to ensure that we have policies in place that protect children. That is one. Two, I was very much disappointed. I don't want to say where, but there were a lot of promises that were being made. I will pay the school fees for this child. I'll do this, I'll do that. Go back now. There is nothing that has been done. So it's all about empty promises. And for us to protect these promises, I think we will need to lobby as actors to ensure that we put in place policies that ensure that the children are protected at all costs during, during the pre and post-election period. Yeah.
All right, and just talking of our post-election, that is exactly what we'll be looking at after this very short break. So we are looking at children's safety and security during elections, of course, pre and definitely during campaigns and post-elections. So as mentioned, the children are supposed to be involved in decision-making, but as my panelists say, that is George Odalo as well as Daniel Amdavi, this should be done meaningfully by just involving them in a separate forum. So we take a very short commercial break. We'll be right back.
We welcome your feedback on our programming. For questions or comments, kindly get in touch with us via email info@kirktv.org, SMS 0111 220044, or call us on 0794 588 054.
And let's latch on to something, I don't care how tiny it is, that is a good thing in our life, something that God is doing in us. I want you to decide tonight two things: that you are going to help more people than you've ever helped before, and that you are going to let God work with you every day of your life to be more and more excellent and better at everything that you do. And the more you celebrate the good things, the smaller the bad things are going to become. Come on now.
Enjoy Everyday Life with Joyce Meyer every day at 9 p.m. for encouraging and impacting moments on Kirk TV.
I'm Celestine Kemunto. I'm taking a bachelor's in business information technology. I chose ZTech because, first of all, ZTech has been ranked among the best in ICT, and I thought it will be best. It will be best for my course. First of all, there are so many ICT labs in ZTech University, which enables students, mostly those who are pursuing IT courses, to get to know more about their courses, of which the labs have so many computers which have Ethernet, which is easier for them to browse. If I were given a chance to choose another university, I'll definitely choose ZTech University.
Apply today. ZTech University. Invent your future.
Good journalism is bold, in-depth, unique, captivates, reflects, and impacts. To quench your thirst for exceptional stories that are about you, from you, and for you, Kirk TV presents itself as the hub of feature stories. Ranging from health and environment,
either there is extreme drought or extreme floods, and these will affect people.
Religion and politics.
And the man looked at the boy, looked at the mother, and told the boy, going forward, don't wet the bed again.
There come a time when the nation is more important than an individual.
Education and socio-economic issues.
Nasaidika kwa sababu nikishona moja mbili nauza, napata kitu ya kulisha watoto.
I have met with other types which I have never met before.
To other stories that touch on your day-to-day life.
Njaa ndio iko mingi zaidi. Tafadhali mnasaidia maji ya nyazi.
Tingatinga amekanyanga kila kitu.
Hatujawahi kuona mabadiliko yote kuhusiana na serikali ya kujengea sisi.
Kwanza kitu naweza omba tu nishikiliwe tu pande ya masomo tu ya watoto.
Kirk TV, the hub of future stories.
The Presbyterian Teachers College Rubate is now offering training and upgrading of P1 and ECDE certificates to diploma and hereby invites all applicants for the September 2022 intake in the following teacher education programs: Diploma in Early Childhood Teacher Education, DECTE, required grade discipline in KCSE. Upgrade of P1 certificate to diploma, upgrade of early childhood teacher education ECDE to diploma. The reporting dates are as from 12th September to 12th October 2022 with the option of part-time classes available. For more information, please contact the principal through 0701 508 503 or their office line on 0720 312 021 and 0711 185 283.
Welcome back. This is Kirk in the Morning. Remember, we are also coming to you live on Facebook and YouTube. That is Kirk TV Kenya. The hashtag to use on Twitter is hashtag Kirk in the Morning. We are on Twitter as Kirk TV_Kenya. Now, in studio, we have, that is George as well as Dan from Total News. And let us look at a few questions that have been shared on social media. So there is someone here who don't necessarily understand how we are saying that children should not be in campaigns. And Asema, we say children have a right to participate in elections, but should not campaign. How should they participate, Basi? Ama they just stay away from politics? You're the one who maybe just briefly because of time.
Yes. We're saying children have a right to participate, to have their voices and views heard. But again, we are saying this should be done in a child-friendly way and forums. And political activities or political rallies are not child-friendly. When we have a child in a political campaign and violence erupts, that child will be the most affected. Yeah, so we need child-friendly forums. We can have indoor forums where political aspirants can engage with children. And we have seen the contestants engaging, say, women in a women conference, or engaging teachers. They call teachers to a conference room and they talk to them. If they want to engage children, they should get children in a proper way, in a child-friendly, in a protected area where children will be safe but also be free to express themselves. Political rallies are not safe for children.
All right. So there is one here as well. Is it right how politicians carry children in their campaigns to appear appealing or call them to perform in their rallies? I think we responded to that. Maybe you can just follow the recording on our social media to get the response to that. We have someone else. What is the government's role in ensuring there is child safety during elections? Bwana George.
What we must applaud the government, the National Council for Children's Services, then the Department of Children's Services, they've been doing a lot. They don't necessarily need to be on the media to be seen to be working. And I appreciate so much the PS, Bonamarwa. he has been very vocal, but he doesn't appear on media. But he has been very vocal, and one of the, this is my personal opinion, one of the PS that I've seen very strict on issues concerning children is Mr. Marwa. He will tell you, do it, lakini serikali kipatana na wewe, jua huko hatutabembelezana. So he's very strict, and they've been doing a lot. They've been engaging us. They have an open door policy. The CEO NCCS is very open. At times tukipatana hata kwa street, he tells you, you come to the office, we will talk. No protocol nini. So they've been doing a lot involving stakeholders before election. And even now, I think through Mtoto News, there was a forum that we had just to evaluate how things were and what is the role of the government. The government doesn't need to be on the street like the activists to be seen that they're doing a lot. And maybe just to add on, there was this point that was raised about having children in political rallies. Children don't need to be there. I mean, wako na right yao ya kuprotectiwa. They need to be protected at all cost. So using them, people seek sympathy vote. I mean, it doesn't work well. If it's my child, I mean, or your child, you wouldn't feel good. It's not right. It's not at all. Yeah.
Great.
If I could just add something on that. So the government is the primary duty bearer when it comes to child protection. And there's a whole structure. We have the National Council for Children's Services that is in charge of policy making, but we also have the Department of Children's Services that has again been restructured under the New Children Act. And we have children officers all the way to the sub-county level. We have a children officer in every sub-county. The children officer at the sub-county level is in charge of ensuring child safety within that sub-county. And we've been working with the two departments, the two bodies, the NCCS and DCS, to sensitize communities on child protection. We've been telling the community, don't take your children to the political rallies and all that. And so the government had a plan. And as George has already said, there was a whole plan and on sensitization, on even responding to emergencies and all that. But we also, of course, the government is in charge of security, and so the police officers are also mandated to ensure that children are protected.
That's great. And you can still share in your questions and comments on our SMS number. That is 0111220044. Thank you so much for those that have sent in your questions. So keep on sending questions as well as comments on our Facebook as well and YouTube. That is Kirk TV Kenya. On Twitter, the hashtag to use is Kirk in the morning, and we are there as at Kirk TV _Kenya. So right now, let us look at some of the solutions that maybe the society, we as parents, the government can come up with in order to just ensure that children are safe during elections as well as post-elections. So to start with, schools are used as polling stations. And to you, Bwana George, how can the government probably just ensure that schools are not used necessarily as polling stations, and maybe some of the examples where elections can be conducted, so that the school calendar is not affected in any way, the children continue with their studies, and elections are also conducted?
Yes. First of all, allow me to go back. There was a time we partnered, by then it was, I think, Ministry of Youth and UNICEF, and we developed a SITAN, that was the situation analysis for the whole country, involving the young people, that is the youth and the children. And one of the recommendations was that we were to have polytechnics and safe spaces in each and every constituency, which narrows down even to the ward level. So these are the things that the government need to tap on, whereby if elections are being done in school, we can use the polytechnics or these safe spaces, whereby people would come, vote, and go. That is one. Two, we also, I know it will take time, but we need to do the electronic voting. In the US, I saw it working out. In 2016, I was in the US. And it was, you can't even notice. they've just written a sign, it's a polling station, so you do your voting before time in order to avoid the long queues during the election period. And then we also need to develop a way that we are able to create an environment that does not raise anxiety when people are voting, when people are campaigning. It will help even these children understand that we need to have a peaceful environment, we need to have peaceful campaign period, we need to vote peacefully, go wait for the result peacefully, and promote peaceful coexistence within the community. Yeah, but if we keep on using the schools, one, the school calendar is affected. He just talked about COVID was with us the other day. Now we are having the election, like 2 weeks gone. Then there is the petition coming. Then after the petition, we don't know what next. Maybe there will be a rerun or whatever. I don't know.
They are still affected.
Yes. And the CS said that this time around the children will not go home. They will be given duties and things to do within the school setup, which is good. But we took our children to school to learn, not to go and play whatever.
Do other activities.
Yeah, they need to learn.
And just to add on, I think it's also a new curriculum. I mean CBC. The students bado hawaja.
Yes.
They've not understood fully, and we have elections and everything that is happening. And I agree with you. Probably, if after this petition, you never know exactly what will happen.
Yes.
So we hope that Professor Magoa will stick to his word, and children will continue learning. Dan, I can see you're really itchy. You really want to add on that.
I think I said everything. My main concern is if there's going to be a rerun, let children not come back home. But then the government should guarantee them safety. And not just the government, I think all of us have a responsibility to ensure that children are safe. So if we're going to have children in school, me and you and everyone that is watching me, every Kenyan, let us ensure that children are safe in school. If we have to fight amongst yourself out there. Don't go and hurt children. If we have to fight, I think let's fight for unity. And this unity, the purpose of this unity, or for the sake of children, let us maintain unity and also peace, but also ensure that children are safe in schools. Yeah,
that's the word. I think unity and peace.
Yeah, maybe just to add on, there was a time I was sharing with a friend. For example, a school in location X with a teacher from tribe Y. This teacher is the one who teach your child. And if you start rioting and saying teacher so-and-so is bad, who will teach your child tomorrow? You go to a shop where you are used to take credit every now and then. Ile mafuta ya kadogo, unga saizi ni 300.
Almost 300.
So tell me, if we start looting and doing all this stuff because of someone who wants a job, it is not politics, it's about a job. Because being a president, you are the CEO of Kenya. So if we are fighting for this person, the moment he gets the job, he will not be concerned about you. He has to run the country, he's the CEO. Then after that, that person that you looted his shop, I may lose whatever I may lose. So I mean, it's up to Kenyans. We need to be realistic. If our children will be in school, let us not think about this child has come from region X and we are in region Y. So we should, beat this child, or, it doesn't make sense at all. We need to preach peace at all costs. All the children are our children, because that child that you want to hack right now might be the next CEO of this country and might be in a position to provide a job for your child.
True.
So if we, it pains because I witnessed the 2007 election in Mathare and Korogocho. It really pains. I really didn't want, and completely I don't want to see violence. Yeah.
And we are grateful definitely for the peace that has prevailed, as well as unity. Before or during the break, we were just talking of how Kenya has now really matured in terms of voting, as well as just remaining calm as they wait for the elections. Now, looking at children's safety as well, as far as anxiety is concerned, Dan, we have this situation where the parent, I don't know how this affects the child now. We have where we agree that the economy right now in Kenya is not as stable. Yes. We've mentioned of COVID-19, and we've then mentioned of how elections definitely during the eve when the results were being announced, the presidential results were being announced, Nairobi was calm, no shop was opened, people were running up and down. Yeah, so parents are not financially stable right now. How does this end up now affecting the child? Because when the child goes back to school, they'll still come back home because of school fees. Dan, maybe you can just shed light on that.
Yeah, of course the economic situation in the country is not very stable, and children are affected because they depend on their parents to provide for them. And if a parent is affected economically, the child is also affected. The parent is supposed to pay school fees, a parent is supposed to buy them food and provide the basic needs, basically. And so when a parent does not have the resources because the situation was affected by the elections, the child will also be affected both physically and also mentally. Physically because probably the parent will not be able to provide food on the table. So this child will go hungry. I remember about 2 months ago, we hosted the Deputy Chief Justice for a children forum, basically a town hall meeting with children to share their frustrations with the justice system. And one of the girls fainted. And upon attending to her, we realized that she had not eaten for 3 days. 3 days, and she was a scout. So she fainted while the DCJ was inspecting the guard of honor by the scouts. And that was a really sad case, that a child is fainting because of hunger. You can imagine the state of the economy right now. Children are going without food. And this does not just affect them physically because they are hungry. They are also psychologically affected. Because you go to school and you find your peers who can afford a meal. You know, that school doesn't have a lunch program in school. So children are given money to go and buy lunch during lunch break. So a child goes to school, she has not eaten at home. She has not been given money for lunch. But her desk mates has eaten at home and has money for lunch. So during lunch break, they will go out there to a kibanda somewhere to buy something to eat, and this child who does not have money for lunch will be there in the class. And they're supposed to compete. How are they going to compete? This child is being tormented psychologically, but also physically. And so I think, I don't know, this one calls for concerted efforts by both the government, the CSOs who are working in the child protection sector. If we are able to provide school feeding programs, and this is, I think, an appeal to the government. And I'm happy that both factions had promised free lunch or school feeding programs. It's time to implement that as soon as possible. Like the next president, the first thing they should implement is school feeding programs. Let education be free totally. Let the government provide food, that's lunch. Let the government provide everything that is needed in school, including uniforms, because children are also suffering. Uniforms are not cheap. So if a parent is not able to afford uniforms, you go to school and you find a child wearing tattered clothes. And it also torments them psychologically. If I'm having a torn trouser, self-esteem will be affected.
All right, thank you so much, Dan, for that. Now, let us just look at George. You work in the slums, and Dan, you work with Total News. You interact one-on-one with parents. You interact one-on-one with these children as well. Now, George, from where you sit, what are some of the things that you're doing in the slums to ensure that children are safety, more so during campaigns, during elections? I like how both of you have put it, that it should not even be in our minds that our children are part of the campaigns as well as the political rallies. So, George, what are some of the things that you're doing, or what can the society do just to improve the situation?
Okay, well, during the pre-election period, we engaged the children, both those who are in school and out of school. First of all, to understand the whole process about elections. They do elections in school, but they really don't understand the meaning of a general election. then and this should be done by everyone. I mean, it doesn't cost anything. If you are closer to a school and you do school outreach program, take advantage of that. Explain to them the petition. What does it mean? What are the implications? And what is the way forward? 2, we've been involving the parents and telling them that elections come and go. Please, let us preach peace and make this be understandable to your children. I remember on the election eve, part of the observer mission, we wanted to know the transportation of the election materials and everything. At around 11:30, I was at the heart of Korogocho slums. And to my surprise, the children were not asleep. And you keep on asking the parents, what are you doing? The parents themselves, they're not in the house. So how do you want to tell me that the children will be in the house if there is no one to take care of them? So you need to be there and then show them, lead them by examples. So it was very painful, very shameful, but we just had to talk to the children and tell them that, I mean, you need to go home, relax, wait, because some of them have never experienced elections.
True.
And maybe if they experienced by then, they were very young, they didn't know what is happening. So some of them were like, maybe this is the time that people are going to vote because the parents are outside. So if we are able to involve the parents, not in a big forum, but do it, I mean, when we do the home visits, that is the time we get to understand and talk to this parent, be it that you are a Kikuyu, you are a Luo, you are a Nandi. We talk, we are all Kenyans. And I'm very, very much happy, even for the support that the police provided, the members of the community were able to provide, so that people get to understand, people get to sit in their houses. And I think as much as IBC has done a good work, but they still need to do more, especially when it comes to campaigning. Because when the election period is over, you should cancel it. We should say it's a deal done. But to my surprise, people were campaigning up to around, I think it was around 2 in the morning, the election day. So I was like, and this is not right. You keep calm, wait, if you will be elected. It's not a matter of life and death. Just get it, whatever it is, then we move on. So we need to involve these people in small scale. Then the other thing is the church plays a very crucial role. Let us preach peace. And the way a group of churches at some point said that they would not allow politicians to use their platform, that was the best. If you go to church, pray. Once you are done, call for your rally outside the church. That is fine. Talk to those people, allow them to sell to them your manifesto. It makes sense. But coming to church, it was not right. The other avenue that we've seen, and we were very much happy it worked out, was the way Mtoto News did. I think you did a very good partnership with Child Space somewhere, and you trained these young children on how to identify cases within the community that are not right, and how to ensure that these are reported in a way that the police has a plan that they're able to respond. So that one was good. And sorry, and I think maybe Kirk TV and all other mainstream media can use this avenue whereby we preach peace to an extent that everyone gets to understand that children have a responsibility. They have a right, but also a responsibility. As much as the parents also have the rights, but they also have a responsibility to ensure that the children are protected at all costs.
All right.
Yes.
Now, for you, Dan, maybe you can just respond on that, what Mtoto News has done. George has done it very well. He's mentioned of some of the things that you're doing. But there's this group that are children of or the areas that we've forgotten. We've talked of the slums as well. How about the security-prone areas? How are children affected in those areas? And what exactly is being done or what can be done? Very briefly, because of time.
As I mentioned, the state or the government has the primary duty to ensure children are protected wherever they are. This includes in slum areas, but also in insecure areas like far-off areas of Turkana, Marsabit, and other regions that are have issues with security. And so the first duty bearer is the government. But again, we have those who check and balance the government to ensure that the government is playing its role. And this includes the media and us, the civil society organizations. And what we've been doing as Mtoto News, we've been trying to bring together the government, the various arms of government that are tasked with the responsibility of ensuring children are safe. They are not just the Department of Children's Services, we also have the police, but we also have other community leaders, the church leaders that George has talked about, the Nyumba Kumi leaders, as well as the village elders. So we have leaders at every level of society. Like the Nyumba Kumi now, these are the elders or the Nyumba Kumi leaders, chairpersons. They actually know everyone within their unit. Like you're in charge of just 10 houses or 10 households. So you know every parent within your unit. You probably even know the children. So it's the responsibility of that unit to ensure children within that unit are safe and secure. And in case there's any issue, we always tell children there is 116. It's toll free. You can call. You can borrow a phone. You can get a phone from anyone around you and just call that number and you'll get assistance. But it also sensitizes the leaders, the Nyumba Kumi leaders, the parents, and even the children themselves that you can walk to a police station. And this is where now we talk to the police. We also try to train the police to be child-friendly. There's already the child protection units at the police stations. So if a child goes to a police station and asks for the child protection desk, they'll be able to be directed to a police officer who has been trained in child handling skills. So there is, what we need is just to conduct community sensitization, to empower children and the community to know where to seek assistance, because we have people who are tasked and who are being paid by taxes to ensure children are safe. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for that. In 1 minute, George, just look at this, your camera. A word to maybe a child who is watching, a parent, just in terms of security. 1 minute.
I think children's rights are human rights, and if we ignore them, we are strategically positioning ourselves into a bomb in waiting. I mean, that is it.
Thank you. Dan?
I'll repeat what I said, especially during this time. If we have to fight, let's fight for unity, not anything else. And that will be for the sake of the most vulnerable members of our society, who are the children. Let's maintain peace, love, and unity. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. That was Dan from Total News, as well as George Ocheng Odalo, the Executive Director, Slum Child Foundation and Children's Right Advocate, and Daniel Amdavi Mulati, Child Participation Manager, Mtoto News. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for the input. It's been a great discussion, and thank you so much for highlighting our audience, or just educating our audience as far as children safety is concerned. Let me just read one of your comments on YouTube. Gloria Ngigi is saying, I think it's a good thing that schools are used as polling stations. I believe this makes the kids aware that elections are an important matter and everyone should participate in choosing our leaders. That's a comment from Gloria Ngigi. So we'll take a very short break. We'll come back with the day's news bite. Remember, we were just looking at the children or child safety, as well as far as elections campaigns are concerned. And just to echo what George as well as Dan has said, that children should not be spotted in campaigns or political rallies, and neither should they participate in the same. So that was George as well as Dan. It was a great discussion. Remember, if you still have comments or questions, feel free to share them, and we'll be very, very glad to respond to them. So we take a very short commercial break. We'll be right back in a few.
Losing a beloved one can be one of the hardest life experiences. Death brings a total change in many setups, the family taking a huge position. Death also provides an opportunity to celebrate the departed and their achievements on earth. Kirk TV provides for you an opportunity to announce death and funeral at affordable fee. For more information, write to us via announcements at kirktv.org or call 011 00 90 647.
Get the very best Christian television here on Kirk TV.
It's such an honor and a privilege to have you on board.
And I'm delighted to bring us the Word of God.
Be nourished holistically with our program lineup from Matters Health.
The health of women, mothers and children is a very fundamental and key area to invest and focus in.
Faith.
Bless all of us, Lord. Bless the whole country of Kenya.
Family.
We stay here and transform families. Stable families for
a stable society. Educational.
To educate you, help you and learn new laws.
Kazi na Mali. Sisi Ndisi.
It is junior talent in the program called Kirk Watoto.
As well as national issues.
In our part as a national government, we will continue to cooperate with like-minded stakeholders.
Experience it all here on Kirk TV.
Thank you so much for tuning in.
Wakenya ni wapenda kazi na kila siku wapo mbioni kuchapa kazi. Kipindi cha Kazi na Mali ni rafiki, swahiba na kipenzi cha wachapakazi wote. Si jua kali tu. Kilimo shambani.
Kusema kweli, nguruwe ni wazuri.
Madini ya protein kwa huyu snail iko juu sana.
Biashara sokoni. Wajasiriamali wa aina zote, sanaa, wasanii. Guess what? It is busy. Tunatembea nawe kila hatua ya uvumbuzi na ubunifu wako ili kujikimu na kukimu uchumi wa taifa. Kazi na Mali, sisi Ndisi, Kirk TV, hapa ndipo.
And let's latch on to something, I don't care how tiny it is, that is a good thing in our life, something that God is doing in us. I want you to decide tonight two things: that you are going to help more people than you've ever helped before, and that you are going to let God work with you every day of your life to be more and more excellent and better at everything that you do. And the more you celebrate the good things, the smaller the bad things are going to become. Come on now.
Enjoy Everyday Life with Joyce Meyer every day at 9 p.m. for encouraging and impacting moments on Kirk TV.
Good journalism is bold, in-depth, unique, captivates, reflects, and impacts. To quench your thirst for exceptional stories that are about you, from you, and for you, Kirk TV presents itself as the hub of feature stories. Ranging from health and environment,
either there is extreme drought or extreme floods, and these will affect people.
Religion and politics.
And the man looked at the boy, looked at the mother, and told the boy, going forward, don't wet the bed again.
There come a time when the nation is more important than an individual.
Education and socio-economic issues.
Nasaidika kwa sababu nikishona moja mbili nauza, napata kitu ya kulisha watoto.
I have met with other tribes which I have never met before.
To other stories that touch on your day-to-day life.
Ja ndio iko mingi zaidi. Tafadhali mnasaidia maji ya nyazi.
Tinga amekanyanga kila kitu.
Hatujawahi kuona mabadiliko yote kuhusiana na serikali ya kujengea sisi.
Kwanza kitu naweza omba tu nishikiliwe tu pande ya masomo tu ya watoto.
Kirk TV, the hub of feature stories.
Well, karibu tena, and thank you so much for keeping it Kirk in the morning. Thank you so much for your comments as well as questions. That is through our WhatsApp number 0111220044. Remember, we are also coming to you live on Facebook and YouTube at Kirk TV Kenya. On Twitter is KirkTV_Kenya, and the hashtag to use is Kirk in the morning. So straight away, let us look at the news bites. This is as far as what will be happening today or during the week, as well as what happened during the weekend. So speaking during a Thanksgiving service held at the Presbyterian Church of East Africa, that is PCEA, Gadi Roine Gedongori in Kiambu County yesterday, President-elect William Samoei Ruto said Kenyans have shown that they can vote for a plan that brings all communities, religions and races together and not tribal affiliations. He said Kenya Kwanza has the broadest support by getting more than 25% of votes from 39 counties compared to Jubilee in 2017, which got 25% in 34 counties.
Nawashukuru sana. Mimi nataka niwahakikishie Wakenya wote ya kwamba sisi tuliopata nafasi ya uongozi hatutawaangusha. Tutahakikisha ya kwamba kiwango hiki kipya itakuwa ni kiwango ambayo tutatumia kupeleka taifa letu katika kiwango cha juu zaidi kwa mambo yote ya maendeleo, ya umoja, ya ushirikiano na ya kupeleka taifa letu le Kenya mbele. Pale 2017 tulipata 25% tulipata kwa counties 34. Katika uchaguzi huu nataka wale waliotupigia kura wajue kura yao ni ya maana sana kwetu. Nataka niwaambie wale hawakutupigia kura ya kwamba hii serikali tunatengeneza ni serikali ya Wakenya wote na wao hawatawachwa nyuma.
Now that's the President-elect William Samoei Ruto speaking yesterday at a church service in Kiambu County, just assuring everyone, those who voted for him as well as those who did not vote for him, that it is well. So let us look at the President-elect William Ruto on the same as far as the Mount Kenya votes are concerned. Now, President-elect William Ruto has said the last general elections has demonstrated that there is no room for tribal politics in modern day Kenya. Speaking about the huge votes he garnered from the Mount Kenya region in the just concluded elections, William Ruto expressed his gratitude to the people in the region for standing with him during the just concluded elections, saying they were the heroes of the elections, stating that it was a move that indicated unity and a blow to ethnicity.
Nachukua nafasi hii ya kipekee nikiwa hapa mlimani ni washukuru wa Kenya wa mlima huu, Wakenya wa kutoka Mlima Kenya, nyinyi ndio mashujaa wa uchaguzi huu. Ninyi ndio mumetusaidia kuzika ukabila katika siasa ya taifa letu la Kenya. Kuna mambo mengi yaliandikwa siku nyingi, lakini watu wa Mlima Kenya, mimi nasema katika ibada hii ya kwanza na kwa unyenyekevu na heshima kubwa, asanteni sana kwa kunipa nafasi niwe mmoja wenu na kuniunga mkono ili tuweze kutengeneza Kenya yenye haina mipaka ya ukabila. I truly appreciate that the people of Mount Kenya have taken me as one of their sons. They've stood by me through thick and thin, and they have changed the politics of our country and buried ethnicity in the...
Well, that is the President-elect William Samoei Ruto just talking on matters of peace as well as the Mount Kenya region in terms of the votes he garnered from that region. Let us stick on the same matters, looking at the Deputy President-elect, that is Rigathi Gachagua. Words of gratitude that were echoed by his running mate, Deputy President-elect Rigathi Gachagua, calling everyone on board, including those who did not vote for them, saying that the Kenya Kwanza government will seek to unite all Kenyans.
Ile heshima mumepatia jamii ya Mlima Kenya ya kwamba sisi si walagai, sisi si waongo, sisi si conmen na fraudsters, sisi ni wangwana na ni Wakristo na ni watu ya kuweka ahadi. Watu wangu wa Mlima, asanteni, asanteni, asanteni sana. Naibu wa Rais, hapa kwetu tunaongeaga na nyimbo. Na tukiangalia hii safari yako, kama Mungu hangekuwa pande yako, hungefika hapa. Neguo tigagayale mwana wa Jaberego, tunaongeaga tu na nyimbo. Na hii chapter tunataka tuifunge leo. Ile mateso William Ruto amepitia na sisi zote tunataka tuifunge, tuende kwa kazi. Hata wale watu ya Mount Kenya Foundation walikuwa wanapinga uongozi wa William Ruto na sisi. Ningetaka kualika hao kwa roho safi wakuje tujenge Kenya pamoja.
Well, that is the Deputy President-elect Rigathi Gachagua just echoing some of the things that the President-elect William Ruto has said as well. Let us look at what will be happening today in terms of the Azimio la Umoja petition, where the 6-bench judge is expected to listen to the petition. Now, Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance presidential candidate Raila Odinga spoke about the decision of the coalition to seek the truth in court after the completion of the 9th August elections. Speaking after a fellowship with religious leaders at his current home, Raila condemned the IEBC conduct of the just concluded general elections and the lack of unity in the commission.
Sisi tumesema tunataka kuona kama haki inatendeka, ndio amani ipatikane. Tumwambia vile marehemu Askofu Desmond Tutu alisema, ati bila ukweli hakuwezi kuwa na amani. Vile bila amani hakuwezi kuwa na upatanishi. Kwa hivyo tumesema tunataka kujua ukweli iko wapi. Yale ambayo yametendeka katika nchi yetu ilikuwa ni mambo ya kushangaza. Imeshika piga watu wengi na bumbuazi, na watu wengi wako katika hali ya huzuni mpaka siku ya leo. Ni kweli kuna wengine wachache ambao vile vile wana furaha, wamesherekea. Hiyo ni haki ya kidemokrasia. Sisi tunajiuliza tu, na nimewaeleza ati mimi kama yule mwanariadha ambaye alienda kukimbia, na tumekimbia na mpaka tukafika mwisho. ambayo kwa kimombo inaitwa photo finish. Sasa naona wale mareferi ambao walikuwa pale, mmoja mwingine anasema fulani ameshinda, mwingine anasema fulani ameshinda. Sasa haijulikani, na hii kitu inaweza kufanyika tu hapa kwetu Kenya. Maana yake kama wale ambao walipewa jukumu ya kusimamia uchaguzi wa taifa letu wanaweza kufanya maneno ile ya aibu vile ilifanyika, inaonyesha kwamba demokrasia yetu bado yuko mbali sana. Na kwa wakati huu hata kuna mtu ambaye angefurahia ati kuna mshindi. Naona wengine wanasema ati rais elect. Kama kuna wale watu wa tume ya uchaguzi ambao ni watu 7, hatujasikia maoni yao kwa kijumla. Hii maneno ya kuaibisha katika ulimwengu mzima, mbele ya ulimwengu mzima. Lakini tumesema sisi hatutaki kuona.
Well, those are the words of Azimio la Umoja One Kenya leader Raila Odinga. And just to mention a statement from the Supreme Court that the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance has until 2 p.m. today to file the petition. Remember, the petition is given 1 week. That is for Azimio la Umoja. So according to the Supreme Court, 1 week ends today at 2 p.m. And if they do not file the petition by then it will be ruled out, and the Supreme Court has 14 days to come out with a judgment. So let us move on as just on the same matter. That is the petition in the Supreme Court. Wycliffe Oparanya is confident that the Supreme Court will nullify the just concluded presidential elections, terming that the whole process was marred with irregularities. While championing for peace among Azimio la Umoja One Kenya supporters, Oparanya stated that according to their parallel tally, their presidential candidate garnered 1 million votes, more than what was declared by the Electoral Commission.
Tunaambia IBC, sisi watu wa Kakamega tunataka uchaguzi tarehe 23 mwezi August vile ilikuwa imepangwa, na tumeenda kotini kulazimisha hao wafanye uchaguzi wa governor hapa Kakamega. Na pia kule juu, wakati sisi tulikuwa tunatafuta kura, wengi walikuwa kazi yao ni kupanga vile wataiba kura, na nimesikia yale imefanyika. Kwa hivyo kesho vile mmeambiwa tunaenda kotini, mimi nitakuwa kule kesho kusindikiza wale wanaenda kotini, kuona ya kwamba haki inafanyika. Na tumefanya hesabu, tulipata kura 1,000,000 zaidi kulingana na zile ambazo zilitolewa. So muwe watulifu, tungojee uamuzi.
Well, moving on, Mvita Member of Parliament Abdul Somad Sharif Nasir has asked IEBC to conduct the by-election of the Mombasa gubernatorial seat as earlier communicated. Speaking in Mombasa, the gubernatorial contestant has turned down an invitation from the Independence and Electoral Commission, that is IEBC, raising questions on the purpose of the meeting while speaking about the 4 commissioners who disowned the presidential elections results.
Barua inasema commission inatualika ili tuwe na mkutano. Haikusema mkutano ni nani, wamesema mkutano ni commission. Kisha vile vile wamesema ya kuwa ni kuweza kuwa na consultative meeting kuhusiana na by election. Mambo matatu hapa. Kwanza, kisheria commission ni makamishna. Kwa hivyo nataka kujua ikiwa huo mkutano ulioitwa ni wa Chebukati ama ni makamishna wote wameamua kutuita katika huo mkutano. Pili, hii si by election, na IBC ni lazima waelewe wazi, by election kisheria inatokea pale ambapo kuna mtu amefariki, kuna mtu ameweza kujiuzulu, ama kisheria na kikatiba ameweza kufutwa kazi kuwa hafai kuwa katika mamlaka hii, waloweza kuyairisha bila kutumia vipengele vinavyotakana kikatiba na kisheria, ni part of the general election. Pili, commission ni makamishna. Mkutano hatujui unaoitwa whether ni wa Chebukati ama ni wa commissioners. Na kisha pia hii ni mara ya kwanza ya kwa watu wenye kukaa katika maeneo bunge na maeneo county tofauti kuweza kuitwa kwa mkutano unaoitwa consultative meeting. Consultative meeting ilikuwa ifanywe pale kwanza.
Well, now you're up to date with our news bite right here in the Kirk in the Morning show. So we'll take a very short break or the sports montage. Then we'll be coming right back with my colleague Vincent Kerosi is on standby for the sports news. Well, Vincent Kerosi ananiarifu ni wakati wa kuzungumza Kiswahili. Kwa hivyo tutakuwa tu tukiangazia maswala ya spoti. Kile ambacho najua tu ni eti Arsenali walipiga yaitwaje Bournemouth.
FC Bournemouth.
Mabao 3-0 kwako Kerosi.
Angalau hapo umeanza vizuri, maana umezungumzia timu ambayo kwa sasa ndio timu bora zaidi ulimwenguni, timu ya Arsenal. Mtazamaji, tuangazie yaliyojiri weekendi katika upande wa michezo, hasa katika ligi kuu nchini Uingereza, ambapo timu ya Leeds iliaibisha mabingwa wa kombe la dunia kwa klabu Chelsea baada ya kuwasasambua mabao 3 bila jibu katika mechi iliyochezewa ugani Elland Road. Leeds walifungua kinywa kunako dakika 33 baada ya mlinda lango Edward Mendy kufanya kioja kilicho ruhusu Marekani Brendan Aronson kutumbukiza mpira wavuni katika dakika ya 5. Baadaye Mhispaniola Rodrigo Moreno akazidisha chachu baada ya kupachika bao safi kutumia kichwa chake. Msumari wa mwisho kwenye jeneza la Chelsea ulipigiliwa naye Jay Harrison kunako dakika 69, huku kitumbua cha Chelsea kikiingia mchanga hata zaidi baada ya sajili mpya Khalidou Koulibaly kulishwa ama kubanduliwa uwanjani baada ya kuoneshwa kadi 2 za njano.
Ngojea Vincent.
Kwingineko ni kwamba Manchester City walitoka nyuma kwa mabao 2 na kuandikisha sare ya mabao 3 dhidi ya wakali wa St James's Park Newcastle United. City walitangulia bandarini kupitia bao lake AK Gundogan kunako dakika ya 5 kabla ya mabao 2 ya Miguel Almiron na Callum Wilson yalihakikisha kwamba Newcastle wamekwenda buraha wakiwa kifua mbele. Mapema kipindi cha pili Mwingereza Kieran Trippier aliwakata matumbo wanasamawati wa Manchester City, lakini City wakajibu kwa haraka kupitia Erling Haaland na Bernardo Silva kunako dakika ya 61 na 64 mtawalia. City wanashikilia nafasi ya pili kwa alama 7 baada ya kusakata mechi 3. Wataka kujua ni nani viongozi wa ligi? Basi sikiliza hii. Ni kwamba Arsenal walichupa hadi kileleni mwa ligi baada ya kupata ushindi wa 3-0 dhidi ya limbukeni wa AFC Bournemouth. Mabao ya Arsenal yalitiwa kimiani na nahodha Martin Odegaard aliyefunga 2 kabla ya mlinzi wa Ufaransa kinda William Saliba kufunga bao la kudondesha ute na kuwapa vijana wa Mikel Arteta ushindi wa 3 mfululizo mwanzoni mwa ligi baada ya miaka 18. Naam, ndio michezo. Aida, sijui kama huo wimbo unaukumbuka wa 3-3-3-3.
Siujui.
Wa TMK family.
Siujui. Faith yaniambia tunajua ile wakati ya Man U na Arsenal gani kali.
Bado hiyo hatujaitumia. Hiyo tutaitumia ndani ya mechi 3 zijazo. Maana Arsenal watakuwa wanacheza dhidi ya Manchester United Septemba kule mwisho. Kwa hivyo tutatumia wimbo huo. Kwa sasa tumetumia 3-3-3. Maana Arsenal ni 3-0.
Kwa sasa wanaongoza Arsenal.
Wanaongoza ligi
na
alama 9.
Manchester wanaongoza kutoka chini ama?
Wanaongoza
ukitantebo hivi.
Ama ukianza kutembea upande wanaongoza. Upande wa nyuma kwa hivyo.
Na Chelsea
wapo nafasi ya 7 kule chini kama sijakosea na alama 4. Manake wameshinda mechi moja kutoka sare moja, wakashindwa nyingine moja. Jana walipigwa vibaya sana. 3-0.
Kwa hivyo 3-0 kila mahali.
3-0 kila mahali.
Na mechi za wiki hii pengine?
Wiki hii tutegemee weekend, manake kwanza si wiki hii, leo kuna mechi kubwa sana. Kuna derby la Uingereza ambalo ni la tangu jadi, manake Manchester United wanacheza dhidi ya Liverpool, wakali wa Anfield ambao watakuwa wanakaribisha ugani Old Trafford leo hii kuanzia saa 4 usiku. Tunategemea tuone nani mshindi, lakini nafikiri ni rahisi kusema nani atashinda hiyo mechi. Manake ukiangalia Manchester United kidogo uwezo wao mdogo sana. Manake kati ya mechi 2 wamecheza, wameshindwa zote. Leo mechi ya 3 naona wakishindwa mechi nyingine ya 3. Manake wamepigwa na Brighton, wakapigwa na Brentford. Sasa Liverpool ni wakali zaidi. Watawapiga tena sijui 3-0.
Lakini Kerosi una bahati yani. Najua we ni fan wa Arsenal. Kwa hivyo unasoma taarifa hizi wakati Arsenal imeshinda.
Mimi husoma siku zote. Hata wakati imeshinda. Hata wakati Arsenal ikibwaya bado nilikuwa nasoma taarifa.
Tutamuuliza nani huyu Sambu ni wa Chelsea
bana. Sambu anaumia. Maana upande ule wa pili tumekuwa naye kidogo anaumia kidogo.
Yuko sawa.
Atatuzoea tu.
Sawa pengine kwa heri kwa mtazamaji.
Nafikiri ndio kama hivyo mtazamaji, leo hii usiku tutegemee nani mshindi. Zungumza nasi katika mitandao yetu ya Facebook na Twitter na bila shaka katika nambari zetu za simu. Utuambie unategemea nani mshindi baina ya Manchester United ambao wakaribisha watani wa tangu jadi Liverpool. Lakini kwa sasa michezo ndo kama hivyo.
Na tupate kitambulisho cha sporti.
Now, dear viewer, thank you so much. It's always a struggle to switch from Swahili to English. But thank you so much for tuning in. That was Vincent Kerosi with the day's sports. Remember, we've also looked at the news bites as far as what will be happening today. We looked at the traffic updates, the news updates as well. Remember, by 2 p.m., as far as the Supreme Court order is concerned, the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya should have filed their petition as far as the elections are concerned. We also looked at the day's discussion where we focused on the child safety before, during and after elections, and Daniel from Toto News as well as George Odala was able to just share their insights as far as that subject is concerned. So thank you so much for keeping me company. See you again next Monday from 7 a.m. So from Monday we'll be coming, or Kirk in the morning will be coming to you live from 7 a.m. in the morning. My name is Aida Munzati, and to everyone who made this broadcast a success, including Faith Kaulu, my wonderful producer, I'm wishing you a blessed and beautiful Monday.